students. In today's class, we'll be discussing about liabilities of directors. So there are different types of liabilities as per the Companies Act 2013. First one, liability to outsiders, liability to company, criminal liability, unlimited liability, liability for the acts of co-directors. So let us discuss in detail about the first one, that is liability to outsiders. Usually, the directors are not personally held liable to the outsiders if they are acting within the scope of their authority or within the scope of their powers. But there are certain circumstances in which even the directors are personally held liable to the outsiders. These are as follows. First one, where the directors act their own name. So here, if the directors are acting in their own name rather than in the name of the company. So instead of representing the company's name, if the directors are acting on their own name, then the directors are held liable. Second one, where the directors are, a director acts ultra vires the company. Ultra vires means acting beyond one's legal power or authority. So ultra vires acts are those acts which are not authorized by the memorandum of association or article of association. If the director act ultra vires the company and the company has incurs any loss, then the directors are held liable. Third one, where the directors do some tortious act. So suppose if a director commits any wrongful act which causes injury to the person or damage to the property, etc. So this injury may take place in the form of personal injury or property damage. So damages can be obtained in the court of civil law. So here, because of the damage caused, the directors will be held liable. Where the allotment of share is irregular. So what is irregular allotment of share? Where allotment of share is not is made against the provisions of the Companies Act. When the shares are allotted, if it is against the provisions of the Companies Act, now say for example, minimum subscription has not been received or a copy of prospectus has not been filed with the registrar of company within 30 days of allotment. So these are all the provisions of the Companies Act. If the director do not comply with the following provisions with regard to allotment of share, such allotment is considered to be irregular and the directors will be held liable. Where the prospectus issued contains untrue statement. As we all know that prospectus is an invitation to the public to subscribe for the shares or debentures of the company. If the prospectus contain any misleading or misstatement or untrue statement, then because of the untrue statement, if the third party incurs any loss, then the director has to bear this loss. Second one, liability to the company. So when I speak about liability to the company, there are certain circumstances in which the directors are held liable. First one, where the director act ultra vires the company. As I said, ultra vires is nothing but acts which are beyond the powers given to them. So directors are held liable if the company has incurred any loss or damage because of the ultra vires acts. Secondly, when the directors negligent in performing their duties. If the directors are negligent in performing their duties, now say for example, if the directors do not use reasonable care or skill in the management of the company's affairs, so in such a case also the directors are held liable. Where there is breach of trust, that is if the directors do not act honestly or if they are not protecting the interest of the company, that means they are misappropriating the company's fund or the property of the company, even in such a case the directors are held liable, then there is a breach of trust. When they are guilty of misfeasance, so if they are guilty of misfeasance, the directors are held liable. What is misfeasance? It's nothing but misconduct of the director or willful negligence of the director which results loss to the company. So under all these circumstances, the directors are held liable. Third one, criminal liability. Above those two aspects, liability to outsiders and liability to company are the civil liabilities. Now nextly we will be discussing about criminal liability. So as you all know that the Companies Act contains certain provisions. So Companies Act makes the director criminally liable if he fails to comply with those statutory provisions. So if the director does not follow the statutory provisions of the Companies Act 2013, then the directors are held liable. First one, where the prospectus contains untrue statement. As I said, if the prospectus contains any misleading statement or the misstatement, then every officer who has authorized the issue of prospectus, they will be held liable with the fine of rupees 50,000. So then they are punishable with the fine of rupees 50,000 and imprisonment of 2 years or with both. Secondly, where the money received from the applicants for shares are not kept in the scheduled bank. So, from the applicants for share, what the money we have received from application for share, it should be deposited into the scheduled bank. If it is not deposited into the scheduled bank, then every director shall be punishable with a fine up to rupees 50,000. Third one, where the register of charges are not maintained by the company. There could be the fixed charges, there could be the floating charges. If the register of charges are not maintained by the company, then every officer in default will be punishable with a fine of rupees 5,000. Fourth one, where the written of allotment are not filed with the registrar. So it is the duty of the director, as I discussed in the last class, it is the duty of the director to file the written of allotment with the registrar of company along with all other documents, maybe financial statement or it could be the auditor's report within 30 days. Suppose if the director do not file written of allotment, a copy of written of allotment with the registrar of a company, then he will be held liable with the punishment. So he will be punishable with a fine of rupees 5,000 for every day of default. Next, where the particular of a charge is not filed with the registrar. Now say for example, as I said that there are fixed charges and there are floating charges in the company. Suppose if the details of those charges are not filed with the registrar, then also the directors are held liable and they are punishable with a fine of rupees 5,000 for every day of default. So that is about the criminal liability. Criminal liability, you have to pay a fine. Next, fourth one, unlimited liability. See, usually the liability of the director of a limited company is limited only to the extent of shares held by them. So, limited company, the liability of the director is limited to the extent of shares held by them. But however, their liability may also be unlimited only if it is contained in the memorandum of association of the company. So, what are the points? First one, where the memorandum of association does not contain any clause as to unlimited liability of director. Suppose if in the memorandum of association of the company, if it does not contain a clause regarding the unlimited liability, then what we can do? Then it can be altered by passing a special resolution so as to make the liability of the directors unlimited. But such alteration can be made only if the article of association provides. So if the memorandum of association does not contain any clause as to the unlimited liability of director, we can do that we can alter it by passing a special resolution, but such alteration can be done only if the article of association provides or if it permits. Second one, where the liability is made unlimited by alteration. As I said, we have to pass a special resolution and only if it is permitted by the article of association, such alteration that is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible. So, when it comes to the alteration, here the liability of the existing director shall not be affected until their term of office. Only the liability of the directors appointed in the future shall be unlimited. So, what does it mean? Here, even though the liability is made unlimited by passing a special resolution, the existing directors' liability will be the same until their term of office. But the new director who are going to appoint in the new future, their liability will be unlimited. That is about unlimited liability. Last one, liability for the acts of co-directors. So here, as we all know that directors are the agent of the company. Director acts as an agent on behalf of the company. So here, directors are not the agent of any other person. So director is not the agent of his co-director. So when the director is not the agent of the co-director, then the director is not held liable for any acts of his co-director. So here the director is not held liable for any acts of the co-director, even though if he has knowledge about those acts or he is not a party to the contract. So here the directors are not held liable to his co-director. Thank you.